And because it's true that on your favorite book, you can also review it as well. Feel free to take notes, etc. So today we're going to go through the Raindrop Boys Raindrop Technique. And then after that, we're going to have a demonstration with my good friend Anna. She come all the way, ready to be massaged. Okay, so let's get started with some quick introduction about the boys, etc., so that you guys can get familiar. This is just a quick disclaimer. So a lot of whatever I'm teaching are all of my personal opinion. I'm not presenting them. Okay. So quick introduction. My name is Kai, if I've not met you before. So I've been in this business since 2017, actually. And so over the years, we've actually built a team that's close to 30,000 people internationally like that. So along the way, after I got to know Young Living, I also got very interested in health in general, and I wanted to understand how to support people more holistically. So I also got certified as a health coach with an institution for IIM in New York. Okay. And I actually had to look that up because I was like, I can't really remember. I started training for Raindrop in 2010. So we have had various teachers. I've learned from Tamara Carter, which is Gary's cousin. By the way, Gary Young is the one who actually created the Raindrop, and we'll talk a lot more about the boys and the purpose of the boys he chose. So as I went along, I learned from, like I mentioned, Tamara, I learned from Gary. I also learned from some other teachers and trainers in the States and in Malaysia in all different variations. Now, one of the things I do want to say about Raindrop is that as you Google, you might find that, hey, how come some days you see a certain sequence of voice slightly change, or certain techniques, a little small variation, even if it was Gary himself doing. So I want to reassure you that majority of the steps are pretty much the same, but with Gary, especially as a teacher, when he teaches in different settings, different countries, he's very intuitive. And like any intuitive practitioners, sometimes they might just swap things around. It doesn't ruin anything, okay? So don't feel like you must remember the steps. It's like if you miss this step or you skip a step, something bad will happen, okay? So today what we're going to do, we're going to cover introductions. Very quick one. Huh? Over here, anyone like, actually I don't really know it's a choice ever. Everybody are quite expert. Okay, then my introduction to, yes, no? Okay. I delve a little bit more. Because the introduction usually covers what is greatly essential oil. How is that different from what you find in the shopping mall or the shopping carts, right? And then we're going to talk about the Raindrop Technique. There are two parts to this. We're going to learn the roll and release technique, which you can easily then apply for yourself. And then we're going to talk about the essential oils, demonstration. You can skip 5 because you all know how to purchase oils. Okay. And then, of course, you can ask me any questions. So let's get started. Very often, the most basic question, if you are brand new to essential oil, people are going to ask me, what are essential oils and what do they actually do? So I want you to go backwards and ask the question, what are essential oils doing in plants to begin with? So they are derived from plants. There must be a reason God put them in there. Like, cannot be just for fun, leave some liquid inside the plants. So the studies reveal that essential oils in the plants for very specific reasons like fighting diseases. Okay. It can also deliver oxygen. If you're very into chemistry and you look to the breakdown, it carries a lot of oxygen. So it delivers oxygen, and all living things need oxygen to thrive and also to heal. And the last one definitely support healing. Now, because this can be done for plants, the essential oils are in the plants, definitely to serve the plants. The plants also serve the exact same purposes for us, because our human body is very, very compatible to plant materials. And everything that we talked about here will be delivered to the human being as we use them as well. A little bit of science. Every single drop of molecule of essential oil is so tiny. Okay, it is approximately 1 drop contains about 40 million trillion molecules. And that one tiny molecule takes just 22 seconds to get into the brain, 2 minutes into the bloodstream, and 20 minutes to every cell in the body. Now, one of the things I always teach people is to pay attention to that 20 minutes to reach every cell in the body. A lot of people ask, when I use essential oils, how frequently can I use and how do I know it really works on me? Number one, you can use it as often as 15, 20 minutes because the curve, when they track the efficacy of essential oils, literally goes like that, up in efficacy. In about 20 minutes, it hits the peak and then it starts to reduce in efficacy and then exits the body. So if somebody is actually not feeling all too strong right now, that every 20 minutes keeps the body saturated with high efficacy oils, okay? Which means that your body constantly is being fed with essential oils in its maximum potential. It's doing whatever it needs to do, like healings and oxygen, okay? Everything that helps your body gets better and stronger. Number two, how do I know if this particular essential oil is good for me? The trick is observing your own body within 15 to 20 minutes track. Okay? Within 15 minutes track that you put on an essential oil, your body is going to show an indicator whether it's helping or not. It will suddenly be from suddenly bad to 100% okay? No such things. But your body might calm itself something. So if later I get hotter, you guys will see I have a rash here, a hive that developed. So one of the things that I do tell people is I don't usually recommend putting essential oils on top, but I needed to calm it down, and I tested with my oils. And typically I watch for its reaction in that 15 minutes track. Because if it starts irritating more, I know, no, not going to work for me. So I know that a lot of people talk about the LLP, the lemon, lavender, peppermint, being a really good anti-allergy combination. So I tested it out on myself as well. So it worked for me. But again, test first, especially when it's something like a rash or a hive that's coming up. Okay, so that's the other trick that you can bring home and say, okay, next time, let's say even if you're having a cough, somebody's not feeling well, test the oil and see if the person gets a little bit better. Cough less, don't feel as stuffy. It will placate the system. And when it placates the system, you know that okay, the oil has something in there that's helpful. Keep using it every 20 minutes. Okay. So for those of you who are really new to the essential oil industry and family, there broadly are 4 categories of oils out there in the market. So we kind of, display high in a format of a huge triangle where the base of it is what's most common in the market. We call that generally just grade D, and grade D essential oils are oils that are completely synthetic, meaning 0% plant materials. Okay, how is it made? Synthetically in the lab. Fragrances can be made in the lab. So there's no plant materials in there that's going to be healing for your body. So usually that's made in the lab just for nice smelling. But the problem with the industry is the labeling and the marketing is not, it's not really governed. So people can use words like pure without being sued at all, to be honest. In fact, there was one time I picked up a brand of oils. I didn't realize that the brand name that they decided to use is pure. Okay, so the whole bottle just says pure and essential oil. So it's very deceiving in many ways. And when you smell it, it's nothing natural in there. A bottle of frankincense is $5, which really is impossible if you really understand the market. So if you go up that chart, the quality gets better and better. So I'm going to skip some of the steps to kind of just get to the top. The grade A essential oils is what we call the therapeutic grade. There are several different types of named therapeutic, uncut, full spectrum. Why full spectrum? Because in the process of distilling the oil, the distiller or the manufacturer is concerned with making sure that all the natural chemistry is captured. Okay? And that's actually really important because a plant is created in completion, even if there is a natural chemistry that is 0.01%. However, that 0.01% can be missed out in most industrial distillation because they might speed up the distillation, either heating things up. Okay, turn on the heat faster, quickly distill, like try to boil faster than that. Okay, and when that happens, right, some of these much lesser chemistry do not get distilled up or get flashed off very, very fast. So they're not captured in full spectrum. So the full spectrum is really important because I did one class in chemistry of essential oil. I sit there, I was like, wake up, smell peppermint, like trying to understand. But the one thing I captured in that class with the chemistry teacher is he showed us all the, the molecule and then the hence the bonds, etc. Is that even if it's just 0.01% that's gone, that's taken out of the formula, the entire structure is changed. It can turn from a good thing to a bad thing, literally in nature. So it's really fascinating when we don't uphold the entire integrity of the plant. Okay? So understand that full spectrum oils are very, very important, especially if you're using it for healing purposes. Okay? So fast. I also think I thought very fast. Okay, but I want to get to the action, you see. So today we're going to do the raindrop. Okay, the first thing that I'm going to have you guys learn is the roll and release technique, also known as vital flex. So this is one thing you know for sure. Today you go back, you can do for yourself. Most of the time when we do a raindrop demonstration, it's like, wow, you learn all the massage technique, you write all the notes, and then you know you go back and need a model. And you grab a husband, the kids, somebody, and you do for them, and after you finish, you feel very accomplished, and you go, nobody knows. Right? Okay, so the vital flex, which is the roll and release, is so important for you because you can apply the raindrop oils on yourself, not on the back, but you can easily apply this on your own feet and still receive the benefits. Okay. So vital flex is short for vitality through reflex or pressure points. It is believed to have been developed in Tibet over 5,000 years ago. And the idea of it is it activates your own body's system to correct or heal itself. Okay. So what happens when you actually do this hand movement, it's basically skin touching skin, it's going to create a mild electrical effect or the piezoelectric effect. For people who are very, very sensitive, as they go through the process, they will begin to feel just gentle electrical pulses through the body. But if you don't, okay, don't need to panic because again, it is something very, very gentle. So still understand that your body is producing it anyway. The piezoelectric also helps to stream the molecules faster through the system. So the molecules of the essential oils are electrical in nature, by the way. Okay, so when they actually measure it, etc., there's electrical charges to it, not in terms of like you feeling electrocuted, but there are electrical charges in it. So when we use these gentle pulses, it actually facilitates the whole absorption of the essential oils into the body. So I just wanted to show you guys foot and hand reflexology charts, just in case you have never seen before, but they're very commonly found online. These literally just shows that both your hands and your feet are very well connected to all parts of your body. Okay? That's why for us, I think in the Asian culture, we go for foot reflexology a lot. And we know that it's good for us because it creates certain energy streams through the system. So we're going to get started with this first. We're going to learn the VitalFlex. It is very simple in 3 steps. Okay, let me just explain the terms. Meaning pad of the finger. Okay, so when you look at your finger, where you will usually do your thumbprint fingerprints, that's the pad of the finger. Okay, then of course the tip literally just means tip lah. Okay, and then of course your nails. So how it's going to look like is if I was to place my fingers here as demonstration, I start off pad. Okay, I usually like to use my thumb to just hold the back as a kind of like a hinge so that my hands don't fly around. So pad, and then I move in the same position to the tip. If you have really nice fancy nails, then painful, okay? And then you flick over nails, all in the same position. So pad, tip, nails, pad, tip, nails, pad, tip, nails. 1, 2, 3. So when you first start learning, it probably is just very repetitive. Okay? Until you're familiar with it, it gets faster and faster. Just don't get lazy about it, because one of the things that I notice when people get faster is they end up doing 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. They don't flick over to the next. So give you a little bit of a theory behind this, because I like to explain things to myself so that I understand why I'm doing all the process in completion. Part of the fingers, it's like, I think of it as turning on the switch, turning on the circuit. Because skin touching skin, you're turning on the switch. Okay. Tips of the finger is usually where your meridian lines end. So the energy of that touch actually climaxes here. Okay, so turning on, turning up. And then when you flick it to the back where your nails are, those are insulation points. So you're turning off. So imagine you're actually controlling this electric circuit, turning on, turning up, turning off, turning on, turning up, turning off. Okay, usually once I explain this, and people go, oh, must really switch off, so you get the pulsing. Okay, then you'd be much more hardworking, do all 3 steps and not just 2 steps. Okay, so 3 steps. This. Okay, just from so usually when we practice raindrop, after a while, it's good to be okay to use both hands to do. And again, if your other hand feels unfamiliar and awkward, always start slow. Just go pat, tip, pat, tip. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to you guys very quickly in the first row, and I'm going to actually do it just on your hand, just to give you a sense of the pressure. Because a lot of times I also have people thinking that this is like foot reflexology, where they really use the strength and then it's very painful and you want to kick their face. Okay, VitalFlex is not. VitalFlex is meant to be gentle. So let's just do this. Keep on the screen. Okay. What I need you to do is help sit behind. So they get a sense. Okay. Okay, so it's very gentle. Practice behind. Sweet, just so you can use slow. Okay, this is what happened, right? Oh yeah, I mean, I'm used to it, so this is faster. So it's not meant to be hard. Very good. The people go behind. Practice. Yeah, so just remember, butterflies, the magic is not in the strength of it. Yeah, it's actually just touch. That's why I think it's something very easy. You can actually even teach children how to do it, and they love doing it actually. So let's talk about the essential oils, and then after this section, we'll go into demo. Okay, so I like to go through the essential oils because I want people to know how to be able to use the oils individually. There are 9 essential oils that come in this kit. You can buy it and purchase it as a set. They call it the Raindrop kit. But very often in the past, when we just teach it as the Raindrop kit, a lot of people then just place that kit on the shelf. And then they wait for the moment that they go, I'll wait for the day I'm going to touch on, which actually never really happens after that, because then they go, okay, I've got the second one. Then the whole set left there, which is not practical. So I want you guys to become familiar with everything inside. So let's start off. Vela. Okay. Vela is a blend containing frankincense, black spruce, black tansy, camphor root, and geranium in a sweet almond oil base. There is already dilution in there. So as the name suggests, valor is for courage or strength. We always use this blend at the start and at the end of any protocols because it really helps to regulate the body's nervous system, calms the system down to prepare the body to receive. So in any form of healing, if the body is in tension, it's usually in a lot of resistance to receiving anything. Okay, so start of any treatments that you're going to see, we always start off with Valor. Valor alone is great for calming any nervous system. Okay, so if you're finding yourself, your children, anyone feeling jittery, apply a lot. And when I say a lot, I have literally just splattered 10 drops. Don't just do one drop, you think that's going to calm you down. Okay. If you're in anxiety and nervousness, be generous. Put a lot of yourself. Yeah, I've seen people raindrop oils on people on the bed. And for Valor in the past, the Raindrop Technique, the way they do it really is rain. You don't count the drops, they're just raining until the entire bag is covered with essential oil. Okay. Yeah, so it is very, very helpful for also spinal alignment purposes. Now, on its own, if you don't already know, it's very good for cuts, bruises, knots, and whatever. So it's a very good first aid oil. So we leave it all over the house. If anything happens, bumps and bruises, just call a lot. What also helps is because the scent is so calming, it's a kid that was in accident, it would have stopped the bleeding, but it will also calm the child down or calm yourself down. Okay. Then there is oregano. The next 2 oils, I want you to, if you are writing notes, just to pay attention and remember oregano and thyme, which is the next one, are hot oils. Okay. Hot oils meaning most people, when they put it on their bare skin, there is going to be some form of irritation. Okay, you're going to start scratching a little bit. It's going to feel like it's burning. It is very normal because it's very, very high content in this thing called phenol. Okay, and phenol exists in plants that are particularly good for killing germs and viruses and detoxifying. So there is a reason for the existence of phenols. But on skin directly, it can burn sometimes. So if there is irritation, always use a base oil to calm it down. So the kit comes with a bottle of V6 oil like this. With the essential oils, when there is irritation, you will never take a wet shower, okay, put the person under shower. Nope. Must remember essential oils are oils. You mix with water, then what will happen? You don't mix that repel, right? So the water will repel and force the essential oil into your system even faster. So that's why you notice that if you're sweating and you put, let's say, peppermint on yourself, the feeling amplifies. It's even hotter. So always make sure skin is dry when you're applying essential. And if there's irritation, use a base oil or a fatty oil. So at home, I always tell people, don't have fancy things like this. Cooking oil is also a fatty oil. I would rather you grab that, you grab butter if you have to for emergency times, and just spread it on. So I had these kind of oils in my eyes before. Painful, okay? Painful, okay? You cannot wash. So what I do is I literally just grab whatever oils I have, I smear it on and keep taking tissue paper to wipe. Because the fatty oil will lift up the essential oil. So as you wipe it off, you're removing some of the essential oils at the same time. And then just count about 100 maybe, and then it will wear off. Okay, promise you nothing happens to you. It just hurts a little bit. Yeah. So the antioxidant properties is very, very high as well. So oregano and thyme separately are oils that I do go to if I notice that my body is under some kind of infection or virus. If I don't feel I have the energy to do my entire 9 oils of Raindrop, minimally I grab my oregano and thyme. Okay, and the safest, easiest place to put them on my feet without, let's say I'm so weak, I got no time to do this. Okay? Just wipe it to the base of your feet. Okay, if you're a little bit braver, put it in capsules and take them. The inner defense, which is sold as a supplement in Young Living, actually have oregano and thyme in there with these very, very potent combination to help viruses. So if you're out of inner defense as well, just putting oregano or thyme is really, really helpful. Okay. Now, again, test it. If you're not used to ingesting essential oils, you can dilute it with some olive oil, etc., or even V6, and then put it in the capsule and ingest it. So thyme is the one that we're talking about just now. Again, same antiviral, antiseptic, supports natural defense. It has 37 to 55% of thymal natural component that is effective against infection. Okay. Here's one last bit that I really, really love. And I learned this from a nurse when I was in a conference in San Francisco for essential oils. It wasn't Young Living. So it was very fascinating listening to professionals like doctors and nurses speak about essential oils. And this nurse, her entire 1 hour presentation is on thyme. I was like, how about thyme for an hour? But it is so amazing because they like to use it in the hospital. Not just because it fights infection, because emotionally it supplies energy in terms of physical weakness and stress. It creates the will to be well. So this is an emotional support, not a physical one. A lot of times, if you're treating a patient, if they don't think they're going to be well, it is way harder to be well. So they know that if somebody's will is taken care of, it's very powerful. And they've also noticed, on the internet, they always like to show pictures of how certain food looks like certain part of our brain, our eyes, and then you say correspondence. So if you actually go and Google how thyme looks like, the flowering fruits, it actually mirrors our thymus gland, okay, over here. Now, thymus is, part of it is really, if you research into emotional purpose of our thymus, the physical purpose is immunity. Emotional purpose is creating will. Okay, so it's really, really interesting how there's a mirror over there. Next oil, we're going to talk about basil. Basil It's not one of those hot ones, okay? But it is also a very highly antiviral, anti-inflammation oil. You can use basil to relax muscles. And the aroma is something that helps bring cognitive alertness. This is the smell that you're going to find predominantly in our blend called Clarity. The first whiff of Clarity is got that smell, and that's basil. So diffusing this alone is really, really helpful for somebody who is struggling with mental fog or mental tiredness. This is going to help a lot. Some people, they literally like to massage it on their temples if they're having a migraine or they're feeling like just brain fog, cannot remember things very well. Okay. Now, I also want to teach you guys a combination tip of using basil to your brain, head, and pituitary reflex points. So just now we talked about how there are reflex points on your hands and on your feet. Okay. Yes, today we are going to cover the raindrop demonstration. But remember, I want all of you to know how to use the oil stacker. So one way that you can use the basil, okay, and we're going to pass this out. Let's use some oils in the classroom. Notice in that chart on the tips of the fingers, okay, are all related to brain, pituitary, and pineal glands. These are all different things inside your brain. So you're just going to take a little bit off the basil, okay? You can choose 1 or 2 fingers, and then I'm going to have you Vitaflex with just fingers. So just now we used all, right? Now imagine you can actually do Vitaflex with 1 finger. Okay? So the thumb is particularly good. This is a region where you can use to activate memory and also activate ability to have a sharper focus. So you can teach this to little children or actually even to elderly. Okay, so you can continue matching this to the rest of the fingers. I'm going to pass this out. Just a little bit of the basil at the tips of the fingers. Okay, and then you smell the basil and just have a whiff of how it smells like. And as you're doing that, I'm going to talk about cypress. Okay. Cypress comes from a very, very big, stable tree. Okay. It is also antiviral, antibacterial. But one of the things about cypress is the fact that it supports circulation a lot. I will always remember this because Gary likes to say, C for cypress, C for circulation. Okay. It's a one oil that helps things move in your system. So for example, if somebody has water retention in their leg, a good combination would be cypress oils plus grapefruit. And you can put a little bit of massage-based oil. And what you want to do if the swelling is in the feet, you start massaging from the base of the feet and rub upwards. Okay? There is swelling typically because the system is not pumping the blood upwards. There's no strength. So you support by doing massage upwards towards the heart. Okay, cypress also creates a sense of stability and security and helps to soothe anger. So you'll be surprised when you smell cypress, it is not a fancy, nice smelling oil, but a lot of yoga teachers like to use this as one of the last oils for Savasana, which is basically the lying down meditation. Okay, because this is where it's very calm. With essential oils, what you want to always do is, I always like to Google and search how the plant looks like and what kind of situation, where it grows, etc. Because when you know how the nature of the plant is, you know what's the characteristic that it's delivering to you. So cypress being a very strong, stable, big tree, it creates that stability. So again, not necessarily the first oil people think of for like anxiety, but it's actually really, really good for calming people's nervous system down. Okay, let's just pass some cypress up for you guys to smell and you can use. So cypress, a lot of people do like to use it for respiratory purposes as well. They find it useful, especially for cough. So the reflex points that we want to target on is this fleshy area right under your fingers. Okay, that's your lungs points. So you can literally do vital flexing this way. You can do 3 fingers, you can do 2 fingers, you can do 1 finger if you like, but generally it's this area. The base of the feet is the same, it's the balls of the feet where it's just fleshy. So you're going to take a little bit of cypress, you can add it to your palm, okay, rub it in, and then you can actually just work on it. So learning these points on the hands are really good because let's say you're actually in a transport, you're on bus, MRT, you're feeling certain congestion. Even if you're not using the oils, vital flexing actually helps reduces the stress system. Okay, so you could be doing this, or if you're feeling fatigue in the brain, you could be working on your brains, etc. Okay, so these are additional notes for you guys. Okay, as Cypress is going around, we're going to talk about winter green. Winter green is very high in this content called methylsalicylate. So if you look at any of these muscle rubs that's been stored in the pharmacies, they will highlight this thing, methylsalicylate. Okay, but usually for those muscle rubs, it's extracted and isolated. Okay? Which remember I was telling you, it is much better if the compounds are complete and essential oils are used in full spectrum. So methylsalicylate combined with other tiny small properties inside winter green actually makes this a very complete, very powerful oil. Supportive for bones, joints, antiviral, antibacterial, etc. I also know of a lot of moms who like to use winter green for kids because of respiratory issues as well. Okay. So this is also another backup for respiratory challenges. Marjoram, also known as the herb of happiness to the Romans and joy of the mountains to the Greeks. Kind of interesting. It is soothing for involuntary muscles. Earlier on, basil is for voluntary muscles. That means muscles that generally you can train during your bicep, okay? Things that you can really target and work on. Involuntary muscles, think of your heart, your womb, etc. They are all lined with muscles inside. But that you can't, or you can do some contraction. So I know that there are people who teach pelvic floor exercises, but there is much less you can do, right? Actively. So that's why marjoram is very good for women's menstruation, because your muscles in there are going to be all over the place. So we use that a lot for menstrual issues, menstrual cramps. Even for the heart, marjoram is a really, really good oil in the digestive tract. And I did mention menstrual pain over there. So if you have never heard about this particular combination that we use for blood milks, so copaiba, marjoram, and cypress. This combination is actually really good for clearing blood losses. Copaiba, marjoram, cypress. And the reason for this, marjoram relaxes all the muscles. There are a lot of muscles around this region, okay, in our sinus cavity areas. Cypress promotes circulation. Copaiba reduces inflammation. So all these oils, when used in combination, if somebody's had blood nose, it really clears very fast. So heart point. Let's use the marjoram for the heart. So on your hand, under the fourth finger, just about an inch, is over here. Okay, that's your heart point. So I like to use 1 or 2 fingers. So if you're feeling, for whatever reason, congested in the heart, okay, you're feeling palpitations, this is an area that you can gently just vital flex. You can put a drop of marjoram And then you can massage. Usually a drop is way more than anything. And then after that, just gently massage this area. Even when you're in stress, okay? You're feeling nervousness and stress, and you're feeling a lot of palpitation going on, it is good to actually just put a little bit of marjoram over here and then just massage. Okay. Aromaseeds is one of the other blends that we have in Raindrop other than Bella. This is a muscle relaxing blend. It has already a combination in there. Basil, marjoram, lavender, peppermint. Generally, it's useful for muscle aches. So we use it really to target just general muscle aches. This blend, interestingly, when my mom had a frozen shoulder, I gave her very expensive pen away, didn't work for her. Gave her deep relief, she found it too spicy. With her peppermint, she also was too hot for her. My last resort was aroma seeds. I didn't think too much of it at that point in time, but she started using it. And after that, she had, number one, she didn't complain. So as a typical mom, she's Chinese mom, good, she won't tell you good now, but she don't complain, okay? Which means it's good. And then at some point, when she finished, and I see the bottle near her TV area, so she just showed me, she said, Chinese, she said, 没有了, which means buy something. So I know it worked for her. So this would be another pain oil that a lot of people forget about within the Raindrop, within the entire series that we have. Most people think pain, they will go deep relief, pen away, etc. Aroma seeds actually has a very powerful combination for pain. Okay, our last one, peppermint, is a very common, very well-loved oil. It's my favorite one. Peppermint is highly anti-inflammatory, supports your digestive system, pain relieving. It's also been documented to support focus and performance. In fact, there was an entire research paper that it showed one drop in 500 ml of water, okay, that they got athletes to work up. So this was documented. And they realized that the athletes could perform better because of increased lung capacity. That's one drop in 500 ml of water. This oil is an oil that I have to pair up with everything else. Number one, because if I don't like the smell of the other oil, peppermint always makes it smell nicer. Okay. Number two, much more realistic reason. Let's say you apply the first oil. When you apply peppermint has very tiny molecules. So what it does is it moves faster through your system. And as it pushes through your system, it's going to bring along the oil before that. So it actually fastens the pace of absorption of any oils that's used. So far so good with all the oils? Okay, and just one more tip for peppermint, because it's usually for the digestive system. You see the green section across like this, okay? This is your stomach region, okay? This area at the base of your tongue. So this becomes a good area to actually just gently massage if you are having digestive issues. And you can apply a little bit of peppermint and then just massage this region. Yeah. But just note that peppermint is a spicy oil as well, not as burning as oregano and thyme, but yet still spicy. So if you actually apply it to this onto your hands, just don't touch your face. Okay. So far so good, everyone. So typically in a full raindrop, we start off with valor and we will end off with valor to create a sense of completion. The summary or sequence of the oils, typically how they will be put on the human body, is this. Okay. Now, very complicated to remember. So we have many different versions of it. You can come up with something that rhymes and something that makes sense for you. This is one that we teach little children, especially because it comes to a farm. Very often the barn comes with many pigs. think this morning somebody was giving me, the office people were reminding me of the sexy version. Yeah. Which one was it? No,
It's by LC.
I know it's Jack. Veronica?
No, it's on the bed. Come with me. Again, please.
Okay. That's the RA version. So I heard a version very Veronica on the bed. Oh, okay, this is the sexy version. Okay, so there is an A because they've added aroma Cs. So a little point to note: the oil number 8. The only reason I don't put it in the acronym is because usually when I do vital flexing, I don't include the aroma Cs. So you will see later on when you're actually vital flexing on the base of the feet, we don't include aroma Cs. Just everything else, no aroma Cs, but on the body, the aroma Cs will come in at the massage section. Okay, so we'll talk about that moment. Okay, let's grab Anna. Anna's like, yay! Okay, you can change in there. While we grab any questions we might have. How is it so far for everyone? I'm going to run through some basics very quickly. So this is for vital flexing, okay? Generally for adults, 3 drops on palm, rub oil with fingers in clockwise motion, and then apply. Then we'll see the demonstration. For children above 2 years of age, I usually do 1 to 2 drops, and children below 2 years of age, 1 drop of palm, and then I like to rub and count to 10, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then I literally apply to the feet, and then I vital flex. So on her foot, so with your right hands. So as I was saying, with children below 2 years of age, we try to use as little oil as possible. I have done it on really tiny babies. Yeah, and I've gone to ICUs to work on babies, and actually the way I would work on babies with boys is I would do this, I would do this, and I'll swipe it to their spine, and then I work the phalange center. And you might think this is very, very little. So when you stack the oils up, it actually shows up. So one of the things that happen when we work on the back is that if there's a condition, especially if it's viral, the back starts to flash up red. It's very, very common. The redness usually comes during the session and then disappears after that. Okay. So I actually work on the tour, like I said, I put like that, and then I was like, dub, especially when I first was learning it. Then I felt like tipping a bit more, and then I start seeing the little baby was lying on the bed. I was like sleeping at first, right? And then after that, then I started doing that. Then I watched the redness appear there. Okay, quickly take the B6 to cover. And she was dealing with the viral infection. And after that, really flashes up. So don't underestimate the fact that it's okay.
There's a question by Sylvia about RDC or using some oils or add up oil for art.
Okay, so I do know that recent years, there are some raindrop techniques that's been kind of worked on by other practitioners where they talk about focusing on heart, the brain, etc. And then they change out voice altogether. So I'm less familiar with those protocols. I'm a little bit more old school, Gary taught. So let's say, and you guys will see it later on. In terms of the protocol, we have what we call a window after marjoram. After that particular section, you can add in 1, 2, maximum 3 other oils. Okay? And those additional oils can be anything that you feel is appropriate for the person. So if the person came to you with a hormonal need, okay, you put in endoflex, for example, you put in geranium, especially for me. If the person came in with a heart challenge, you could add in aroma life or ylang ylang. But keep in mind, even if you didn't, remember that raindrop oil system covers your whole system. So there is already marjoram and even cypress are very, very supportive of the heart. So you don't have to feel like you must add in additional oils. Okay. But thank you for the question. Let me see. Back to this. Dosage for the back RGT. Okay. Usually for hot oils like oregano, thyme, peppermint, I just use 2 to 3 for adults. And for the back, I might do 4 to 6 drops for anything else because they're generally not hot. For children, 1 drop. For children above 2. The oregano and thyme stick to 1 drop and everything else about 2 to 3. And for children below the age of 2, like I show you, I swipe it off the top of the bottom. Okay. And again, this is a guideline. If I have somebody come in who's like very, very new to essential oils, I might do a much lower dose on the person because I don't know their condition and I don't want them to flare up with a lot of essential oils working on them. Okay, so to start off, this is not within the Raindrop kit, but they now always suggest us to use the white Angelica on ourselves as a practitioner when you're actually using the oils. I'm going to pass these around for everyone as well. I put a couple of drops in your hand. And what I like to do is I like to simply pump it. And I like to sweep it across my shoulders to hands, across my chest, down the back. Okay, I like to put it across in my hair as well. And simply after that, just inhale and intent for protection. Now, what happens really, okay, not to sound rude, but the signs of it is when we actually interact with people. Energies interfere with each other. We will always interact. This is science. This is not anything strange. Science actually governs that human being, because we're electrical in nature, we all have our own electric fields, okay? And our energies interact with each other and affects each other. So when you're actually doing this, especially if you're starting to do it a lot for a lot of people, I know some people who have been members for years, they may not do anything else, but they're just in love with giving raindrop to their friends. I have a member in Philippines. She grabs anybody who wants raindrop and she's just like, free some more, okay? Free. You go to the house, she'll give you a raindrop. But the more you do, understand that you're also giving. There's an energy of giving, and you don't know where the person's coming from, how they are. So just protect yourself. Okay. And now we're going to start off with is okay. Actually, start with the shoulders. What's that? This is 3 drops on each hand. So I'm just putting 6 all together. So we're going to start some balancing. I'm going to go to your shoulders, okay? And what I like to do is just put your hands at the shoulder area. Harder for you guys to see, but yeah. So the idea usually here is just balancing. You're just sensing the left and the right side of the body, just balance. People, I am what I'm doing. And just stand there and just take a few moments and breathe with the person. That's good enough. So remember how our energy interacts with one another. As you slow down your breathing, particularly good when you're working with children. Because you can co-regulate as you slow down, as you breathe deeply, helping the person sink into that breath. You go to the feet. And then you're going to do 5 drops of each. I'm just going to 5 to 6 drops. Savella in itself is very, very good. Okay. Cross your hands, left hand to left knee, right hand to right knee. Just make yourself comfortable. Now, one of the things that I always say to people is, most of us don't have massage, right? So you're likely going to be doing this when the person's on the sofa or when they're on the bed, or if not, when somebody's on the mattress. However they are being positioned, your job, other than taking care of them, is to take care of itself. Okay? A lot of people like to give the raindrop, and after that, because the back very big. Okay, so if this was on the bed, get to a place. It probably is not on the side. So get a chair and sit down. Okay, do not be doing this, and then 5 minutes later you cannot stand up straight. Or if it's on the floor, sit down. Get yourself always comfortable. Again, I'm going to remind you guys, your energy transmits. So if you're in discomfort, you're also passing across the person. Okay? If you have kids or even husbands at home that are resistant to pointing, this is the simplest thing that you can do for them at time. Or even in the day, halfway through, you go like, hey, can I just grab your feet? You know, and just the act of it is very soothing, very, very calm. Okay? And bellow on feet at night without you doing anything fancy, it's going to help the person sleep. Very, very well. So we're going to go into the sequence of vital flexing on feet. Do it fairly. I'm going to start slow and then do it fairly fast. Okay? So for regular, start using my right hand to the right. And the easiest way to know that there's an arc to the feet, right? I'm going to show you here. Okay, it's this hole. So this is about if you project a line now. This is about where you start. You don't have to go all the way. This is how it looks like. My other hand is used as like a little palette. Okay. And then I'm just going to circular motion, get a voice in, place my hand here, and I move wherever is comfortable. So if you guys need to move around, feel free, okay? I need to sync that. So because if I do this, it's very awkward for my hand, right? So obviously remember, first priority, you must feel comfortable. Okay. So I'm going to start somewhere here. I'm going to buy the flex. And it's a moving action to the big toe. Once you're done, go to the other leg. So if I'm going to use my left hand to the vital flexing, my other hand is the palette. Okay, to hold the voice. Done, circle motion. Remember what I'm saying? This is the bone. This is about where I start. Okay. So my fingers are positioned here. At this one I slow down. Okay. At the nails. At the nails. At the nails. At the nails. I'm slowly moving. Move away to the big toe. Remember the big toe is like big toe. Activate. Always 3 times. So you can practice this even on this one. It's just now what we gave you guys is the static. Okay. So you guys are basically doing this. So how do you actually do? The easiest way to think about it is tap, tip, nails, come back, slide up. Tap, tip, nails. So you add one more step. Come back, slide up. Tap, tip, nails, come back, slide up. Okay. But really, like I said, this is like driving car. You guys drive car. If you drive car, you'll know like stopping, you're like, this one. Then 3 years down the road, okay, very automatic. So you just need to get used to doing it in the beginning slowly, and then after that, you'll be able to move your hands anywhere you want to. So oregano. Right. So this drum bit is quite repetitive. You're going to find that you're just putting the voice in that sequence. And remember, that's why it's light, because otherwise it's going to hurt and people are going to feel very ticklish about it. I put 3. Yeah. 3 reps. Yes, 3 reps. 3. No, 3 or all 3 reps. I want, yeah. So that would be more than enough. Any questions at this point?
There's this saying, right? If you massage the person's feet, you shouldn't be standing like at the end of their feet because you always get of the energy the chest can see. There's this how the white energy actually helps you because you don't get the negativity from it.
Oh, I've never heard of that one, but true enough, the white adjunct is for that purpose. Actually, I think they never used to have it, by the way. Yeah, I think it's over the years, as people start practicing more and more, and people incorporated it into like services that they will do. You notice that you pick up other people's energy a lot. And Also on top of that, Raindrop often is offered to people who are not feeling well. So definitely it's a way to protect yourself. But in terms of wet eyes, then technically it's more from a standpoint of comfort. So if I was to stand here, notice my arms are here, it's actually quite weird. Yeah, I can't move smoothly. So I like to, actually as a rule of thumb for myself, I like to see it as an extension. The entire leg, one line, straight to my hands. If I do this, it's an awkward, weird shape. There's an angle. Yeah, if it's a straight line, it's an extension of me. It's very, very easy for me. Yeah. But for purposes of classes, usually we are ending up in weird positions. Yeah. Yeah. And again, whatever you're doing in terms of doing it for family members, always make sure that you're taking care of your own position.
Yes, there's a big time that you should.
Perfectly fine to do it anytime. We have people, I mean, we were not taught this. Okay, this is more from the community, people's experiences when they are very, very down with something. I have seen moms do it even many times, a day. Yeah, in the past, usually they tell us one time is really powerful enough and then use the oils, other oils to support. Yeah, also because this is time consuming. But I'll show you guys the fast version of it later on, okay? So we covered up until oregano. We're going to do cypress, wintergreen. It will help to move circulation. Yeah. So it's not necessarily targeted with, but can help to warm up the system. I've seen this used in all sorts of different settings. You are familiar with Frances Fuller. She's technically my immediate upline sponsor. American lady, she is now Frances is watching shopping back. Got her age wrong. But I remember, I think she had an accident in Ecuador but I think she was 68 in Ecuador. And she was jumping on a trampoline, a famous trampoline act that when she landed, because trampoline, you're not supposed to be just jumping on your feet. There's no point in that. You're supposed to jump up, and you're supposed to land on your butt and then bounce back. Then she 68, landed on her butt, bounced back, and there was her spine was fractured. So this is in Ecuador, and after that, she moved into Gary's clinic to actually treat her. So Raindrop was poise and protocols that was actually placed on her spine every single day without massage, because that's injured person. So the injured person, you never actually do any form of physical manipulation. Just let the poise do the healing. Okay. So we've also seen that which was really fun. We have a video of Anna's little daughter. That's my goddaughter. I think she was only 6 months old. There's a video of her that was doing the demonstration of Raindrop baits. Also, remind me how you would do Raindrop with bed drink on the little child, on the baby especially, because they're not going to be lying down like this.
That's a beneficial view.
Makeup.
It's like starting to feel like yeah.
I think every person can be so different. There are people who come and just and it's been so helpful for rest and sleep because it actually calms down the entire nervous system. So I've had people come into sessions with me and they'll be like, oh, I haven't slept for a long time, haven't slept well. And then the minute they are on the massage bed, the oils are soothing, the massage is soothing. So I have also seen much less often, depending how much you believe it is, raindrop used on much more spiritual level. Same oils. Okay. I have seen in my own teaching class, as I was there as a learner, when they were working on a particular student on her back. And I was just taking notes, paying attention, and then a classmate beside me asked, "Can you see what I said?" I think I can see what you see. Just the sets. So what happened was, when I started blinking my eyes, and this is the person flipping across, and they're just working on the back, I can see smoke, like it's dark, okay? Literally from the back, as if something is leaving. So I think it's one of those things, once you see, you cannot see. No matter how much I blink my eyes and try to shift myself, I cannot unsee it. But that's the one and only time I see it. And we did ask our teacher at that point, who was a much more, how do I say this? Her practice is much more spiritual. Yeah, so we did ask her, and she said it is not uncommon. You're working on somebody's energies either very low or there are attachments. It also clicks. So again, depends on that's my last slide. I have worked on someone, and that's my personal experience. I worked on her back. Into the first oil, she jumped off the table. Wow. That was, and it wasn't a physical issue that she was in. It was 100% emotional. She had to go to the bathroom to clear, and she just sat there and rocked for how long. She came back to the table after that, about 20 minutes later. But those will be the very rare extreme cases that I've seen. Much more often, we've seen this used for physical purposes. Any other questions? So for me, I know most people would tend to like these, etc. Definitely a little bit better. I like to go to the so it's like I start to feel like my throat scratchy, I have a sniffly nose. I take out my raindrop oils. Obviously, when I apply to myself, I can't do my back. So I literally am just applying the oils to my I bring my oils all the time, trips to keep my immune system up. I just put it on my feet. That's good enough. So the full protocol is the feet and then the back. That is luxurious protocol. When somebody can offer you the massage, etc. And it's always very helpful because it relaxes the entire system. For yourself, the minimal that you can do is just grab the oils, put it in your feet. We've got, I see so many funny different versions from put on my feet, butterflies, hardworking. This one's still a bit hardworking. Two, put on the feet and then the 2 feet rock together. That's the reduced version. Okay. And to be honest, I don't fault people because I always tell people, either you put it on the shelf. Okay. Put the oils on. All the technique that you're seeing today are fabulous for relaxing muscles, etc. But the reality is, I always say, how many of you are going to go home and practice the full massage? Right? Have luck, maybe that 1-2% you do it. But Otherwise, the purpose of Raindrop is really having these hotspots. And they have originally been chosen by Gary to address the entire collector system. That's what I like about it. Because this is not focused on, oh, you got, oh, you're having a flu, so therefore let's just do something. It addresses everything, knowing that any part of your body system, the minute it's compromised, everything gets fixed. Okay? So you're always supporting the whole body rather than just one place. Yes. Yes. So, okay. So rather than what's my opinion of it, I will tell you what's Mary's opinion of it. So, and I'll tell you the history of how this began. It began because people were trying to put oils on animals. Dogs, you'll find that it works perfectly fine, one oil for one. Cats, will not succeed. And yeah, very, very crispy. I have 3 cats that also this. So when it first, when I had at least when I first ever saw it, this was made for cats. Because of the friskiness and the inability for cats. Unless it's a very, very good cat. So generally they go really fast doing this. But after that, the human part of us just we can that and we also then we just do it ourselves. Okay. Mary Young has literally come up with this thing. Like that. Okay. So when she said don't do that, it doesn't come from a space of anything like that will happen to you. When they put the oils through a series like that together, Gary has taught very carefully how it's going to address system by system. And there is beauty in slowing down. There's beauty in letting one oil absorb, followed by the needs. It's full spectrum. Okay? Whenever we combine everything, it no longer is each oil as they are. Something chemistry changes, but we just don't know. Yeah. So allow yourself to slow down. Remember, we are always going to mirror our energy. So if you're rushing, there's also a sense of rush. Take the opportunity to use Raindrop and slow down for yourself or the person. Now, are there exceptions? I always say yes. So don't take things like point back and say, no, cannot run. Okay. So I have also seen situations. I have done this with my mom. I'll be first to admit. So my mom doesn't stay with me, and she has. There has been times when she has very, very bad back pains. I can't do Raindrop on her all the time. And if I gave her 1 to 9, I even label her 1 to 9 to tell her point of view. And she looked at me. Okay. And then when your mom doesn't want to do it, you kind of get exasperated, like there has to be a way to get her to put the noise on. So I do combine everything in a roller bottle, and I said, can you do me a favor? Just drop this on your back, okay, 2 times a day. But when I see her on the weekends, I do the Raindrop. Knowing that that just does a portion of the work. Okay? So allow yourself to be flexible. Understand it wasn't created to be fine. Great question. Yes. I have, but also number 1, I would say the comfort of the person who is pregnant, have they been using the oils, and I will use much less, possibly in dilution. Yeah. But I have done this on pregnant ladies. We have had lots of ladies that have gone through the years with us. They use the oils, so they're so comfortable. They just do it the same way that we have done when they have. I noticed. So the first one is, put it like that. I'm just going to have you guys know that usually when you're at home, I would love to go all the way to the table. So just privacy of the person that we're practicing on, all the way. But if you go all the way, also be aware where you place the place. Don't go all the way and go into the back crack. Painful, huh? So be careful of that. The nice thing all the way is really the tailbone, so you have the points. There, we're just going to start. Okay? So oregano and thyme are exactly the same method. I'm just going to talk you through it and then you watch. So we do about 2 to 4 drops, okay, from base to the neck area. 2 areas that you need to be particularly careful with, like I mentioned, crack, okay, and then the other area is the neck. So if you place any points near this area, it tends to run because of the curve of the point. So if the person is a little bit bigger or fleshier, boys, you know, sometimes they're exposed when they lie, that can get trapped, and that's where it burns. So be watchful of this, okay? So if not, always just kind of keep the oil application just about here, up the chest. And then after that, you see this thing called feather, 6-inch, 12-inch full length. 6-inch is approximately about 1/3 of the body. So you see the feathering this way, 6-inch, 12-inch, 2/3 of the body, and full length of the feathering. Okay, and then just feathering sides. So here, actually they do want to teach people to put it. So this is a way in terms of clearing the energy field of the person. So start off 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. Back. 1, 2, and 3. Sides. 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3. Then I'm doing it slowly. This is first oil. So remember, these two are the pockets. Usually the beginning, nothing really shows up. What you're looking for when you're working on someone's back is number 1. It does get a sense of wetness. It's a little bit of irritation. And if there is, I'm just going to show you. There isn't on the skin right now, but if there is, just take a few pumps of these things. Okay. And then just wipe it through. This will calm the water down pretty much. For little children, I actually like to do the V6 first. And then it slows the absorption of the oils down. So it generally doesn't irritate. Because you know how children are. The minute they don't like something, next time you don't like it. Okay, you're never going to convince them to do it. So I always try to make sure that the experience is nice for them. So I do the V6 first, and then I do the oils to make the whole experience much gentler. Okay, so this is your oregano and thyme. Basil. So 4 to 6 drops from the spine, above the spine. We're going to do the feather, and then we're going to do something called the spinal tissue. So from here onwards, every oil, you're going to see that there's a slightly different massage technique. And again, I want you guys to, as I mentioned earlier, you can take picture, etc. These are to support the absorption of the oils or to relax the muscles. Now, if you really forget, okay, this one is my chicken exit for all of you, okay? What I always do in shortcuts is if we take away all the massages, just do the better. If you forget anything else, okay? But if it was the anniversary and you want to give your 老公 a treat, okay? And you want to do a nice thing, okay? Don't give him discount. So let's do the bezel. It's the same 6 minutes. 12. Okay, and then I choose that. I still want to do the sides. Spinal tissue poop. So what happens is there's a lot of tissues around the spine. The thickness going into the muscle area and pulling it out. So not pressing on the spine. On the side of the spine. And basically doing this. So this creates a release of the muscle tension. So now yeah, if you have a massage table, the great news is you can come to this side and you do. Technically, you see, I was struggling, okay? That's what we call it in Chinese. So that I'm not doing this all the time. And actually helps me. I'm going to show you what you do. If you have, oh, Rana is so nice. I was going to show you guys what happens if you don't have a massage table. My last one, I'm just going to go back there. Now, imagine you don't have a massage table, okay? Usually the bed against the wall. And I used to crawl across the person and then squat there and then try to do this. So think about the principles of it. You're trying to move the muscles away from the side. So if I was looking on the other side, right, I'll make sure my hands are curved and I'll push away instead. Okay, this is adaptation. This is not the original. Always such thing. Okay? So be able to be a little bit flexible about how you're going to do this. If you're on this side and it's against the wall, you don't have to climb across. That's the spinal tissue group. Cypress. Do with this finger strap. What you're going to do is it's going to be 2 fingers from the base of the spine. Okay, so the hand closer to the head is going to be your okay. This other hand. Two hands is going to do different things. So this action is moving. Sorry.
There's a lot of competition on business around us. I did succeed a lot. That's surviving and setting action. Raindrop was still currently doing for. So, as you can, one of the things we do is usually these oils will touch water, so they cleanse, especially the ones with high phenol, cleanse a lot. So, one of the common things that could happen is they get a lot of rashes, a lot of breakouts. So again, it's kind of on case basis and how tolerable the person feels about things. If they're on lots of medication, sometimes the clearing of toxins and detoxification process is too intense for them. So you might need to dilute a lot. There is also this other version of recent years they call it flower drop. So they change the place to whole flower, which is supposed to be gentle. Yeah. So, but again, before the flower raindrop version, everybody has always been just using this, but you've got to manage the process. Tongue wide effects, regularly after the winter green. What you're going to do is you're going to use your tongue, okay, and do vital effects. So pat, tip, nails, pat, tip, nails, okay. Now the way to do it, the best way to do it is to position your fingers staggered, okay, staggered versus aligned. If they're aligned, what's going to happen when you do pat, tip, nails is your knuckles are going to hit. So we stagger it out just for ease. So stagger on the body, okay, the base, pat, tip, nails, pat, tip, nails, pat, tip, nails. So this one, that's required that your nails are so sharp. Don't have to use a lot of strength. So always remember anything to do with the neck is so much gentler. Move to marjoram. Same 6, 12, length. This one definitely like to spread to the side. So you're actually releasing tensions in the muscle. Circular hand massage, personal preference. I like to pump in a little bit of T6 to make the massage smoother. Okay. Then what you're going to do is you're going to start at the base and you're going to move in circles. From the base to the top, cross to the other side. Okay, this is considered one. Here.
Okay, this is what I was talking about earlier on. Any choice of box, and this is completely optional. Yeah, I brought in all of the boys here. So this is a part. This kind of you a little bit of sharing here, and somebody was generally nervous. What would you? What voice would you use? Anyhow, it's just you have somebody come to you and actually feeling nervous. What voice would you use? Frankincense, that valor, which is already in there. Lavender, you like, it's great. Peace and calming. Tranquil, stress free. Okay. Or moon, that's how we can talk about it. What would you use? Sage. Nice sage, pregnant women don't use it. Okay. Anything with Clara sage? Clara sage is for the label one. It helps you to. Okay. What else? Marjoram? Or marjoram? Yeah, it can be helpful for the symptoms. Not be the immediate point that I'll go to, but still possible. Again, the nectarine is a good one. Nutmeg, actually, which is in candle flax, actually, it's a good one. So this, remember, is completely optional. And then over here, we're going to do arugula seeds. I wouldn't go anywhere more than 2. Yeah. Otherwise, it's a little bit too much. So seeds. There's this thing they call palm slide. It's like kneading dough. What you're going to be doing is your hands are opposite side. Okay. If you make bread, it looks like you're playing with dough. So you're pushing it together. Cross. Okay. Palm slide. So up and down is considered one type. Yes. So the way we teach it is we're not swaying our butt. You say, move your butt. In terms of actually really working, usually on the massage table, this helps you with your strength and also helps you not use inappropriate postures. Yeah. So when you actually move, it's very, very easy on the system. Okay. So aromacies. This is the closing bit. If you peppermint, now I want you guys to, if you pay attention to this, they're using it on little children. You can swap out peppermint with copper. It's another option because copper even isn't so spicy hot. Little children, they may not like that feeling, especially if they are not feeling well and then you do the peppermint. Initially, it will feel warm. After that, you'll feel very cold. So it can be very extreme for little children. So with the very little ones, either you use much less peppermint or you use cocoa butter. Okay? Do peppermint. So with animals, I've noticed the same, especially small animals, I don't do peppermint. We have, by the way, done this. I've watched Gary do this in classes. As we used to go to JP to the conferences and stuff. And it's really amazing watching the process that you, they don't turn red. We have these things called welts. So you actually see patches of fur actually sticks up like highs like that. That's their way of clearing the system. They will really calm down. If you know a little bit about horses, once they relax, they'll have one leg like this. I don't know why. So then they stand the other two. Start to calm down, the head comes down. It's just very fascinating to watch animals because really, really relax. Animals generally will move if they want it or they don't want it. We've seen animals in stress, needing healing, they will come to you and sit through with you. I have cats who will, like people will say, aren't these always poisonous? No, I have a cat. I think my cat is cute cat. They would like to sit on the person when we're doing the job. It's like literally right there. And enjoy the oils, and when we're done, it's fine. Yeah. But when you see the animals who want to walk away, let them walk away. They don't need the oils and they don't want the oils, so don't force them. They're very, very cute. So after the peppermint, we're going to do the ballad to close off. So in the past, I was telling you, they will literally take the bottle of looking at it. They're not even counting how many drops. The whole bag is just so this last bit I'm sleeping is the bottle is which comes in the kit itself. So usually it's another big bottle like this with the blue label, and that's just a nice massage oil to actually what I call freestyle. That's when you decide how you want to massage the person, relax the body, etc. Okay. Now the last bit we're going to talk about is this. You can either do a hot compress or lymphatic towel is fine. So I'm going to talk you visualize this. So you know the rectangle towels that are about this big. So if you're going to do a hot compress, you need two of those. So the first one is laid on the human body to make sure that the hot towel doesn't burn. The second piece of towel, same size. Imagine it's like this, long. You're going to fold it 1/3 and fold it 1/3 in. Okay? And then you're going to screw the thing tight. Take the whole thing. I like to use, just run it through hot boiling water. So I use chopstick. There are many ways people do it. Some people would steam it professionally. The lazy person just boil water, take chopstick, and then I'll pour the thing through. And then I will use the chopstick to rinse the hot towel. Then I'll come here. Remember, there's a base, so you don't burn the skin. I'm going to use this, just emphasize that the skin is going to be covered. Okay? And then I'm going to lay the towel here, and I'm going to unroll it. Yeah, so it will occupy the entire spine area. And if it runs all the way to the neck, make sure that the neck is covered. Take the base towel and just cover it up to kind of just hold the heat in. If you have extra towels, this way, put extra towels on. These are the moments where I call it cooking the person. Okay, the heat goes through. 5 minutes later, when the heat actually stops, the person is going to feel cold. Okay, and this is where you come in, and you're going to be very gentle. Don't just take the towel out. It's very, very cold because of the peppermint and the heat at the same time. Always go under carefully, and then remove the towel. Make sure the person's still covered with something. This is one way you can end the raindrop. In fact, this has always been the way we did it until I think a couple, well, actually maybe almost close to 10 years ago, we stopped this and we changed the protocol to doing lymphatic pump. Mainly in the US, I think everything is very, very sensitive. If you want to
very sensitive legally, and Gary has always wanted Raindrop to be accessible to every single person, not professional. So they decide to just really remove the hot compress. But up until today, I still do the hot compress because it shook. Okay, when you hold the oil lay on and then you put the hot towel on, really is very soothing for the system. Okay. But I'm going to show you the last bit. I will have to click on the app. So you need to turn over the last thing to demonstrate. So the way I'm going to do this for lymphatic pump, it's actually very straightforward. I'm going to be scooping under Anna's head. Okay, I'm going to scoop her head. My fingers are literally where the cranial bones are going to be. And I'm going to be pumping gently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 sets of that. How it will look like? It will be like this on her back. This will be up here. So it's not a hard movement. I am not attempting to unpump her head. I'm just pumping her lymphatic system. Okay? And again, just get yourself to a comfortable level. So usually when you do that gentle pump, you might see even the toes, body slide. Second set. Lymphatic pumps are generally very gentle, like that massages. Okay? Last one. So the lymphatic pump is also a nice way to end because Raindrop is very detoxifying. So it moves a lot of things in the system, and your lymphatic system is the one that clears stuff. So if your lymphatic system is very clogged with stuff, things cannot move. So doing that actually activates and just facilitates the circulation. Okay, so at this point, I think we are done with it. Sorry about that. The guys who are online, thank you very much for staying with us. We might have to log off the private side, right? I'm going to take some private questions over.
There's one question from Colleen on Zoom. If we are looking at doing it for someone with spinal issues, like spine degeneration, how should we do it on the back?
I would, spine degeneration, I would just really start off as simple as possible without any removal. So just do the feathering. So I'll still do the oils and then the feathering.
And she also asked what's auto ease, body ease.
Auto ease and body ease it's another big bottle like this in the kit. It's not just base oil, but it has essential oils in there. So generally, it's like a soothing massage oil. You can just use it for overall body massages.
Okay.
Cool. So thank you for the ones who are with us in Zoom and on private. People here get to ask a little bit crazier questions. I'm gonna log off for the online folks. Thank you very much. If you guys have any other questions you need to ask, you guys can contact me, DM me in any ways that you want to. I'm gonna have a chat with these guys here, and don't forget the guys here. Each one of you can bring home a bottle of oil. Rana, do you have records? Who gets what?
Yes.
Yes. I know we're past half an hour. But if you have any questions,